Develop your leadership style. 7 Transformations of Leadership. Successful leaders know that they need to develop their leadership skills constantly. This helps them to handle increasingly challenging scenarios. But many executives plateau at a certain skill level, which means that increased opportunities for advancement. So how can you avoid plateau, and thus achieve your full potential? Researcher David Rook and William Torbert argue that leaders are 7 steps to go through, and that learning new skills, you can successfully move from one stage to the next. In this section, we will look at the 7 transformations of leadership, and we discuss how to move through the steps. The Leadership Continuum. Tannenbaum-Schmidt. Balance control with team. The need for freedom. To act for free or close to control. Employees come in all shapes and sizes. Some are authoritarian and tell their best employees exactly what to do. Others use much more involved style. And, of course, managers can use to style anywhere between the 2 extremes. It's executives in a position to choose the style they want to use. These differences in the behavior of the leadership. A popular approach insists on leadership. The event approach should be adapted for the situation of your choice, and not on your personal preferences. Here your approach depending on / to the term incident depending upon the situation. In 1958 have contingency theorist Robert Tannenbaum and Warren Schmidt Continuum of 7 specific leadership styles that identifies published in the Harvard Business Review. By understanding this continuum, what you think about leadership style is best in a particular case helps. Understanding the continuum. Tannenbaum-Schmidt's Matrix of Leadership. Selecting the best management. Select the best approach projects that you say. When you start managing new people, how do you know which type you should use leads? Some of the things that this decision. For example, the work is scoped for creativity or is not filled in a special way. Closure would be the best management, or should we encourage different types of projects to finish independently and distinctive styles of leadership? But as you know the best approach for each project, person or situation. In this area, we are on the matrix management style. A model that you choose helps to search. Survey/overview. Flamholtz Eric and Yvonne Randall Matrix Management Style developed and published in her 2007 book, Growing Pains. You can choose the appropriate leadership style based on the type of task you are involved with, and the people you lead. Matrix of Leadership is divided into 4 quadrants. Each quadrant lists 2 leadership styles that best suit your specific situation and person, or group. The y-axis shows the programmability of the task. Concrete steps can be programmed to perform tasks or instructions. Creative task is not programmable, is up to the individual to decide how best to achieve. The description of the x-axis function and preferences of autonomy. A number of factors influence this, including education, skills, motivation and the desire for feedback, interaction, or independence. Suppose a person's independence would be a high level of education, skills, motivation and independence. Will someone with low motivation and skills are required, and want more feedback and interaction, so that he or she can successfully complete the task with the model? To use the model, a first look at the y-axis. If the task should be executed in a particular way, or if specific steps, then back downstream. When the task is more creative, or if the procedures vary depending on individual input, move the back up. It is to look at the x-axis next. When you say the best people have to work alone to move right at the back, if they need more instruction and interaction from you to the left. Lists come in 2/4 leadership styles are best suited to your situation. Mind Tools, 2013. Application of the model. Let us look at each quadrant, and the appropriate leadership styles in detail. Quadrant 1, High Programmability/Postal Autonomy Low. Sometimes you will be responsible for the task to be performed in a certain way, or that task completing the team requires a lot of encouragement, advice, feedback or interaction. In these cases, a policy management approach is effective. There are 2 ways that you can use it here. Autocratic is sometimes criticized as autocratic style seems outdated. The authoritative style of leadership, your instructions without explanation and you expect people to follow them without question. While it may seem repressive, this type effective in some cases, especially when carried out in a certain way on your leadership team and feedback, and when the work needs. It is also efficacious during a crisis or emergency, or if you are dealing with very significant risks. It is important to achieve a healthy balance when the management style. You need a guide to strength and assertiveness, but it is also important to lead with kindness. Do not forget that depending on staff feedback that you give them. Constructive criticisms and praise on better performance can improve productivity. Benevolent autocratic is similar to autocratic. For example, instead only give instructions, you must also consider the reasons behind the guidelines. In order to successfully use this type to communicate, why should your team to follow your instructions? For example, explain rules so that employees understand the reasons. If they, why certain rules or procedures to understand the situation, they are more likely to follow them. As your staff, practice management through around so that you are available to answer any questions and feedbacks are. Quarter 2, High Programmability / General Postal Autonomy. When should you delegate the task in a certain way, and the person, you want their autonomy in his or her delegate work, you can either consultative or participative leadership style. Consultative leadership style you use when you to the staff and their opinions, but still ask to have the last word. You consult with the group, confidence in your team when trust is present, the staff will feel comfortable with their views and respond honestly to the questions. In order to open personal ideas and suggestions, if you have suggestions for team members' critique or dismissal, they will cease to speak quickly, especially if they think you have already self-up to your mind. You must be flexible to be open and to change your mind if someone gives a better idea. Involved, it is similar to consultative approach, when you have the final say about the decision. However, participatory style goes a step further, you rely on your group to develop ideas, not only to offer opinions on the idea. Participative style is more about problem-solving and brainstorming group. To use this style, successfully participate in, and use of group decision support, to ensure that everyone's voice is heard as problem-solving. Remember that while you are relying on your employees for their hard work, you still need to lead the discussion. Everyone should understand your team, your role within this process. Quadrant 3, Low Programming / Postal Autonomy. Low. You are responsible for a very creative project, one of the staffs or do not want independence. Instead, they need the direction, input and interaction, these two leadership styles that best fit the story of consultation and participation. This is the same leadership style best fit in Quarter 2, High Programmability / General Postal Autonomy.